Alrighty legends, welcome back to a brand new series here on the channel. This is Can I Beat Pokemon Silver with a single Primeape? This is also going to be a semi-speed run to see how fast we can do it, but I'm not really going to call it a speed run. It's more or less just a challenge to see if I can beat the game with Primeape. So let's get into it. So we obviously change our starter so that we can pick up Mankey as our beginner Pokemon, and we choose to swap him out with Cyndaquil so that the starter will have Totodile, because I feel like Feraligatr is probably the tougher of the two to take on. I'm just a big fan of Feraligatr as well as Typhlosion, but I thought we'd take on the Totodile this time. And as you can see, we have a few levels early, and with Mankey having, I think it's like a 90 attack stat or an 80 attack stat, he's just so powerful at this start of the game, taking on the mons that just aren't tough enough to hang with the Mankey, which is very, very refreshing for this point in the game. 38 minutes in, as you can see, and we take on the gym leader Faulkner, and I was actually a little bit worried about this one, but I was thinking of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, where the levels are slightly higher, and we actually get really good luck with our low kicks. As you can see, we got a decent hit on Pidgey, we got the scratch, so then we take on the level 9 Pidgeotto, and then have a look at the low kick, goes bang, get a decent hit, but we get the flinch, and then the crit. So we get our first badge pretty, I would say pretty luckily. It was pretty nerve-wracking to see what he was going to do, but we didn't get hit with Mud Slap or anything along the way. An hour, 22 minutes in, we're off to take on Bugsy, and again, another one of those gym battles where I just wasn't quite sure how Mankey was going to go. We've obviously got the Mud Slap TM from Faulkner. We taught that to Mankey, which comes up clutch, and having Swift found in the, I think it's not the Dark Cave, whatever that tunnel's called, we found the TM for Swift, so our attacks never miss, and it's actually quite powerful too, 60 power damage, so it's way better than using Scratch. And then obviously Scyther makes a mistake here at going for Fury Cutter. He just wastes a couple of attacks. We get the job done, and we level up to level 20. We are not far away from evolving already into a Primeape. So we get the Hive badge, and then we have the rival battle. Again, if we did not have Mud Slap, we would not be able to complete this battle. Taking on Ghastly without Mud Slap would actually be impossible. We would have to use all our moves and actually struggle against it to be able to hit it. So it just made such a difference being able to knock out the Ghastly, and then obviously the rest of his team with the Zubat and the Croconaw. Not too much of a challenge here, which was good. So we were able to get some valuable experience. I love Croconaw's sprite in this game too. I hate that he evolves 2 levels early. There's one thing about Silver and Gold and Crystal that used to always drive me nuts as like a young kid, was that the evolutions in this game would always happen way too early. Even like Lance's Dragonites, having 2 of them at level 47 and 1 at level 50 used to just drive me up the wall. And I used to always think it had something to do with like the Lake of Rage with the Gyarados and stuff. It was just always something like, you know, that I always used to rage at. I just remember it used to bother me so much. But anyway, we get through Elix Forest, we head over to Whitney, we take on her regular type gym, normal type, and obviously it's not much of a challenge. Having Mankey at level 24 really does just make it so easy to take out her Miltank with a couple of low kicks. It's just not a challenge, which is nice for a change, because normally Whitney is such a challenging gym trainer, especially if you're like trying to train up a team of 6 and you've only got a bunch of like level 14s or 15s at this stage. So having a level 25 Mankey that can absolutely destroy her is such a nice, refreshing change of pace. And obviously it's always a pain to have to go back and get the badge off her again. One of those things that I got stuck on when I was a kid. I couldn't quite figure out why she wasn't giving me the badge. But anyway, we get Mankey level 28, which means he's going to evolve into a Primeape, and I love his sprite in this game. I think he's got such a cool little sprite. And obviously having the overpowered level now is just going to make the world of difference. We obviously reject learning Rage. We're going to have a quick look at his stats here and see if his attack stat's pretty decent. At level 28, he's got that level, he's 73 attack stat and 71 speed. So pretty damn quick and hits pretty damn hard. So we obviously defeat the Sudowoodo pretty easy. We head over to Morty's gym in Ecruteak City, and we take on his ghost types. And again, we didn't have Mud Slap or Dig. Dig you cannot find in the National Park where you do the bug catching contest. So we went and picked that up, taught that to Primeape. So we have a super effective, high-powered attack that we can easily take on all 4 of his Pokemon. Ghastly goes down pretty easy, and it's literally follow suit for the rest of his team. Haunter number 1 goes down to a nice Dig, and it's just Primeape's moveset in this game, I honestly thought was going to be a little bit restricted because he couldn't learn Earthquake, which was something I couldn't quite figure out why, because he could already learn Mud Slap and Dig. But he kind of had enough power on his own to get through the rest of the game. I honestly wasn't sure with the moveset that we'd had, but having Swift early on, having Mud Slap and now Dig, and just a few TMs. I also picked up the Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch TMs for later in the game, because I figured we'd probably need them for the Elite Four. So 3 hours, 21 minutes in, we're taking on Chuck at Cianwood City with his fighting types. So we get to have a cool little Primeape versus Primeape face-off, which is pretty cool. So obviously our Primeape's a bit stronger than his at level 38 by this stage, so he's a lot more experience. We've also gone through the Light Tower and, you know, fought on a lot of those trainers as well. A couple of karate chops, get the job done, and we take on the big boy Poliwrath, who I kind of want to do a run with Poliwrath too. He's one of my favourite mons. I think I'm going to have to do... The tricky thing with Poliwrath is you can't get a Waterstone pretty easy in this game, so I think if we have to do a Poliwrath run, we'd have to do it in Fire Red, Leaf Green. But anyway, we get the job done and beat Chuck pretty easily, which is nice. So get the Storm Badge, and then we obviously go through, save the Ampharos, and it is time to take on Jasmine, who's the Steel-type trainer, who isn't really going to be too much of a challenge here either. It's only 5 minutes after the other battle we just had, and Jasmine is going to send out her 2 Magnemites, who are going to get absolutely destroyed by a couple of karate chops. And then obviously the big boy Steelix is coming on his way too. I always have trouble with Steelix, especially as a young kid. If you didn't pick the fire type or the water type, I did a grass run with only grass Pokemon just on my 3DS. And I've got to do a video on that because that was one of the hardest runs I've ever done in my life. Having a Weeping Bell at like level 56 later on in the run, and just trying to take on the Steel-type gym was almost impossible in that part. So maybe we'll do that for an actual full video, a brand new setup. Just start with a Chikorita and, you know, try and... Because there's a bunch of grass types that you can use. It's a bunch of fun. So if you guys haven't seen our Alakazam run too, make sure you go and check that out. That video's done reasonably well. I think it's coincided well with the... you know, re-release of Fire Red, Leaf Green, and everybody's trying to get a Alakazam. But there you go, Primeape level 39 takes down Steelix, so get the job done there. We get the Mineral Badge from Jasmine. Also, another little tidbit, always bothered me that she never had gym trainers in her gym. Always annoyed me, so I don't know why, I always liked to grind up a bit, and the fact that she had none in her gym just drove me up a wall. Still kind of does a little bit. We obviously go to the 7th area here. We get the Rocket Executive, who's at the bottom of the Rocket Hideout. And we take him on. He is not a challenge at all. This is where the level curve really makes a difference, because the levels here are still so damn low. I really didn't need to go for Dig here. I could have probably just knocked out Coughing with a Karate Chop or something like that. But just, yeah, not really much of a challenge here. We obviously, you know, took on the Red Gyarados at the Lake of Rage at Mahogany Town, and you know, now we take on these Rocket Grunts that are just not a challenge at all. They're, you know, 15 to 20 levels lower than us. But I think I'm going to find that with these runs if I do another run. I think the next run that I'm going to do is a Dunsparce run in Pokemon Silver. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that coming out very, very soon. I'm probably going to start recording that in the next day or so. Hopefully it's a bunch of fun. 4 hours, 20 minutes. I was having a little bit of a laugh at that. We're taking on Price in the Snow Ice Gym with all the snowboarders and stuff. So again, super easy for Primeape. Basically one-shot his whole team because we've got the fighting type, which is super effective against ice, which is nice. So Karate Chop to Seal immediately goes down. Karate Chop to Dugong pretty much immediately goes down, and the same is the case with Piloswine. And we get to level 45 here, which is absolutely marvelous. So Piloswine goes down to the Karate Chop, and we are absolutely flying in this run. So I didn't realise too, and learning Cross Chop was just so nice too. A little bit inaccurate. If I had to do the run again, I probably would have kept Low Kick, just because some of the mons later on in the game are like pretty heavy, and the more heavy that they are, the more damage Low Kick does, because Cross Chop's reasonably inaccurate. It's a little bit like Dynamic Punch. I don't know what the accuracy actually is, but it feels like it missed half the time, which is really, really annoying. So we're obviously down in the basement now at Goldenrod, and we're trying to get the Team Rocket section of the game done here. Taking on the rival here. I was a little bit concerned with this Golbat with Wing Attack. If this crits, I feel like it would do a fair bit, but didn't crit, so we were fine. It only did about 30 or 35 damage or so. So take on the Golbat. The Haunter's the same case as before. You just go for a nice dig underground. Didn't have Levitate back in the day, so they are susceptible to ground type attacks, which is nice. And then we take on the rest of his team here. Sort of pretty well suited to us. For Alligator, I'm doing a Pokemon Ruby run on the channel at the moment too. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure you go and watch it. Just a regular playthrough. And one of the things that bugs me about that game is the rival doesn't evolve their starter to the final evolution. It always bugged me that the rival was like level 34 with their final battle with their starter, and just seeing the Feraligatr here is just so refreshing, because playing that game a few times over and over, you start to sort of get used to the rival not having a fully evolved starter, and it just kind of drives me nuts. I don't know why they made that decision, because this is actually, he's got quite a good team here. It's quite refreshing to, you know, battle a decent team like that. But the rival gets done here, 5 hours, 38 minutes. So we save everybody. We've done the job with Team Rocket. We head over to Blackthorn. We go through the ice path, and we take on Claire with her Dragonair. So 3 Dragonairs and the Kingdra to take on. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do here, and you'll see the examples here of cross chop not being 100% accurate. So we hit the second attempt, get the crit, which would have done a fair bit, get the knockout. So the second Dragonair is out. We try again, we miss again. So we're 1 for 3 at the moment. Paralysis hits, so I divert back to the Karate Chop strat. We hit him, it does a fair bit with the crit, gets him knocked out. So just goes to show that a critical hit Karate Chop's pretty much just as good as a regular cross chop. So he goes for a couple of ice beams, which doesn't really matter now that we're fully paralyzed. We can't, you know, get frozen. So just had to wait to bide our time to hit the Karate Chop. And again, critical hit, just unreal. Couldn't believe my luck. I had a lot of luck with a lot of the gym battles in this run, which was really, really nice. Kingdra with the surf, pretty brutal, does a fair bit here. So again, if we don't hit this cross chop, we might not have got the job done. And you'll see here again a third critical hit, which is really, really nice in the context of this run. So we obviously have to go to the Dragon's Den to get our friggin' 8th badge again. The women in this region, suki lalas. Just because you lost, get over it. Always did my head in that we had to go in here and bloody go pick up one item like that was a friggin' challenge. Really, really annoying. So, yep, get the job done there. Go and get the final badge, and we are off and away to the Pokemon League. And I chose to battle every trainer along the way too, so that we'll have a significant jump in level spike here. So we take on our final rival fight for the run, and Sneasel's only 2 levels higher, but Primeape is a lot higher at 57, which is nice. So we are super, super overpowered here, especially for this battle against this guy anyway. Golbat level 36, 6 levels higher than he was before. Is now not the opener on the team either, but you know, we're just way too strong here. And good little experience boost here from him as well. And a Kadabra, I wish he was an Alakazam. I wish that he had a Crobat too. I know that comes later on, but you know, just it's nice to take on some decent mons that aren't, you know, because again with Haunter, Golbat, and Alakazam, they all should have been fully evolved. But anyway, we get the job done here against the rival Feraligatr at level 38, pretty bulky. We go for a cross chop, and again it misses. So I was thinking here, like in the Pokemon League, what do I teach him? And I just couldn't figure out what TMs exactly that I wanted to teach him. But you'll have to see at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. So we take care of the rest of the rivals Pokemon, and obviously having a Magneton is not exactly going to be too hard for Primeape. And yeah, I think about the TMs, but I actually believe I leave them for the first few battles, because there's just no point in changing them, and there was always going to be struggles against the first Elite Four member, which is Will's Psychic types. Especially Zartu's being basically 4 times weak to a Zartu is not exactly a great start. So we go for Strength, and what I wanted to know is if I could knock it out clean, and I couldn't. So I basically had to, you know, try and do a bit of training so that I could knock out a level 40 Zartu, but also a level 42 Zartu. Also, that, you know, there's a Slowbro and an Exeggutor in there as well, which all resist a lot of fighting moves. So Jinx was never going to be a problem having that half ice type, so it's neutral damage, which is easy one-shot with cross chop. But as you can see, Exeggutor here with a strength is just too bulky for us at the moment, and yeah, doesn't do enough. So we go away and we have another crack at it. He takes care of us, and that's pretty much it. So, and I accidentally left Hoot Hoot in the party, which was a dumb decision. I didn't mean to, and I actually forget the whole way through the rest of the run. Hoot Hoot stays with us, so I guess it's a Primeape and Hoot Hoot run, but shout out to Hoot Hoot for sticking out there with us. But as you can see, we have a special defense drop there again from Exeggutor, and we actually do come back into the Pokemon League and retain our levels. So yeah, we have another crack at it. Normally I would soft reset and start again the battle, but I thought, you know what, I think I probably need the experience just to get myself to level 60. Probably to give myself the best chance of actually beating Will's Pokemon. As you can see, Slowbro takes us out there again. So yeah, level 60 we come back at. I actually do go do a little bit of training in Victory Road. Not for very long, just enough to get to level 59. And then I used a Red Candy to get to level 60. So we got really lucky here with the Amnesia from Slowbro. That was a stupid move. So it basically gave us a free knockout, which was very good. And then Xatu came out at level 42, and this was the part I was a bit nervous for, but the strength just one-shotted it at level 60. So obviously just those 2 levels really made a key difference. And then this was another one of those battles where I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. Against the poison types, you know, they have that natural resistance against my fighting type moves, but also having Dig in our moveset is just such a, you know, bonus for us. So we go up against Ariados, I don't know how you say it. He goes for Giga Drain, and it does absolutely nothing, which is really nice. So then I probably should have gone for Strength for the first attack, but just thought we'd try out Dig and see how it goes. It wasn't super effective like I was thinking it was going to be. We do the same for Venomoth, which I clearly don't learn from my lessons, because he's also Bug and Poison, but go for Dig on him. It's about the same result. Luckily misses with Toxic. Actually, looking back on this now, I have a lot of luck throughout the rest of this run, because a lot of big moves that could end our run, like miss, and that continues on for the rest of the Elite Four too. So we do have a little bit of luck on our side for Primeape. A big strength attack, we do about half. Toxic misses again, but by now it's probably too late for Toxic to do too much damage to us, because we're already basically over halfway through his team. So 2 strengths, gets rid of Crobat, and then we move on to Forretress at level 61, which is a nice little bonus as well. And obviously him having his steel typing makes it a little bit easier for us to take him out, so we don't have to worry about the poison resistance. So we try a Karate Chop, hope for a crit. We don't get it. He sends out Spikes, which doesn't matter because I'm not going to be using any different Pokemon. I go for a Cross Chop, it misses. He goes for Swift, which does not much, even though it was a crit. And Cross Chop ends his day out. And then we obviously have the big boy Muck. Kind of disappointing that he doesn't have a Weezing on this team. I love my boy Weezing, but anyway, I digress. So we go for Dig. Muck goes for Minimize. And then we one-shot him with Dig, because this is what we do here with Primeape. He's an absolute animal. I've really enjoyed playing this run so far, and I'm glad I don't know, I just felt like doing a gold run. So I'm probably going to do a half a dozen more of these as well, but yeah, we go on to face our main boy Bruno, who is now the 3rd Elite Four member instead of the 2nd, so he's had a bit of a promotion, good for him. He's also got a Hitmontop on his team, and yeah, again, this is one of those ones where thought it was going to be pretty easy, didn't realise how easy it was going to be. We got the crit on Hitmontop. Hitmonlee comes out. He's got relatively garbage defense, and Karate Chop is a critical hit again. So 2 for 2 with the crits, which is always nice. And Hitmonchan is out. He goes for Muck Punch or Mock Punch, however the hell you say it. Karate Chop again, almost a one-shot. So that's how powerful our Karate Chops are. So if we had a high roll there, we would have knocked out Hitmonchan without the crit, which is pretty badass. So Machamp comes out, and I'm like, oh, do I go Karate Chop or Cross Chop? We go for Cross Chop. And that's all she wrote from a champ. It's just too strong. So I believe Cross Chop's 100 power. So it's a really, really handy move to have. Karate Chop is half that strength, but we're also got a high critical hit ratio. And Onyx is done, just like that. So that is Bruno, the quickest battle of the Elite Four, which is always very nice to have a quick, easy run. And then we obviously have another pretty easy one because we got the Dark type trainer, Karen. She's not yelling and screaming in my face, which is very, very nice. Sorry to all the Karens out there, but she goes out first, obviously, with her famous Umbreon. One of the best Pokemon ever made, in my opinion. Umbreon, absolute awesome style here. I love the sprite in Gen 2 as well for Umbreon. It looks great. But nonetheless, Karate Chop gets the job done with one single hit, which is nice. And then a Vileplume is on the way. And I always wondered why they put Vileplume on the team, but I suppose they don't really have enough Dark-type Pokemon. It's really only Umbreon and, like, Houndoom. That's pretty much it. For Gen 2. There's not too many. Sneasel? Sneasel probably could have been on the team. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. Really, really strange one. Anyway, we get rid of Vileplume pretty easy. Gengar's on the way. I'm happy. Like, Gengar, fair enough being on the team, but, you know, having, like, a grass poison type on a dark type specialist team is just kind of strange. So, anyway, the Dig gets the job done yet again against Gengar. All the Gengar and Haunters have been absolutely destroyed by our Digs the whole way through. The Karate Chop on Murkrow, I was a little bit suspicious if that was going to knock it out, but it didn't, so that's always nice. And again, I thought about Cross Chop, and I went, you know what? It's super effective against Houndoom. He doesn't have the best defense, and yeah, easy one-shot, no crit. And then we have the big final battle, and this is where I decided to change up a couple of my moves because I was low on my fighting type attacks, so I didn't bother with Karate Chop or Cross Chop anymore. I accidentally spoke to Karen twice. But as you can see here, I do teach Thunder Punch and Ice Punch to our boy Primeape, so I get rid of Dig. And I get rid of, was it Cross Chop? I keep Karate Chop because I've got enough PP. And I just thought, you know what, if Cross Chop misses, you know, it's like almost a 50% chance to miss, so better off just keeping Karate Chop because I know it's probably going to hit. So yeah, we take on the champion Lance. Now, I didn't think that we were going to get this first shot, but I was pleasantly surprised because I also forgot to heal in between battles. And I thought, oh my god, what have I done? So we start off with a Thunder Punch on Gyarados, and we get a crit. I can't believe the amount of times in this run that we have had like really clutch critical hits that we've really needed at the time. So it was a 4-time super effective punch on Gyarados, and a 4-time super effective punch on Aerodactyl. We don't get the one shot, and then I go, you know what, I probably should have just fully healed. So this time I actually, for one of the first times in the run, I think this is the very first time I use a full restore in a battle. The rest of the run never needed it, so we've still got plenty of health left. So we go for Ice Punch. We're also still pretty quick. So we take out Aerodactyl pretty easily. He sends out Charizard, who I just love the fact that he's in a champions team like that. I love it. It just makes me feel good that Charizard's a part of Lance's Dragon-type team. Goes for Flamethrower. Does a little bit, but not too much. And we risk the Biscuit, and we get the Thunder Punch knockout on Charizard. And now we have 3 Dragonites to try and take care of. We also learn Thrash. So I decided, you know what, I will learn it. I'll get rid of Karate Chop and we'll keep Thrash. So then it's obviously the Ice Punch parade now, because that's 4 times super effective against Dragonites. We get super lucky with a critical hit on the first one, complete knockout. Out comes the second one at 47, which still drives me crazy that they're not 55, and it's super easy. And then we realise we don't even need a crit to one-shot him, which is so nice. And then I was slightly confident going into the third one for Ice Punch, and guess what? He's gone. All 3 Dragonites immediately gone to an Ice Punch from Primeape at level 63. I honestly think if I was level 62 or 61, it might not have got the job done, but just having that enough, levels throughout the run, I didn't really do much extra grinding, which was really nice. A lot of the Fire Red runs that I've done, I've had to do extra grinding, but in this case, I really didn't. So it was really refreshing that I could just go into the Pokemon League, get the job done. So I'm not going to continue on and go to Silver, but yeah. Primeape is our Hall of Famer, and I'm super proud of it. It was such a fun run, and our final time was 7 hours and 15 minutes. A couple of spots along the way that I probably could have sped up, so I've learned that for next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, please do leave a like and a comment and follow along for more Pokemon videos. Until then, guys, bye for now. Peace.